Hey everybody, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I just, oh my gosh, stick with me because what I'm going to tell you today is a true, I just have to tell you the message, okay? Yesterday, my husband and I went to an event that he goes to, well, we go to sometimes on Fridays. We're standing there and veteran since 9/11, since 9/11, every single Friday, veterans get together at this particular place in Lynchburg. They call it Monument Terrace because there's a monument to veterans. They get there, they just hang out for like an hour or so, and then there's an update, what's coming up for the week or whatever, announcements, Pledge of Allegiance. We sing, God, I just went blank. Star Spangled Banner. And then everybody just kind of leaves. Some people go to lunch together. Anyway, my point, yesterday I'm standing there talking to a guy that I talk to, he's always there. We ride together, everything. Anyway, I'm standing there talking to him, and I see this couple coming down the street that are just dressed in plain clothes, and they're obviously not part of the group, right? Because it's on a sidewalk. So I see this couple coming, and my husband is like in front of me, but his back is to me, and he's talking to somebody else. Well, he went to back up, and I saw that he was going to run into this couple because he didn't know they were there. So I tapped his shoulder. Anyway, next thing I know, this couple, it was a man and a woman, had just passed me. And I heard her say something. And I wasn't even paying attention to who they were, what they were doing, anything. And the guy I was talking to said, she just called you something, and that wasn't nice. And I said, what did she call me? And he said, you don't want to know. And I said, why? I said, what did she say? And it took him a minute, and he finally said, she called you a bitch. And I turned and I looked, and she's just walking away. And I was like, and I told him, I said, you know what? That's her baggage. I refuse to carry anybody else's baggage anymore. And, I could have let it get to me. I could have gone, excuse me, what did you say? Meanwhile, I tell my husband this later, and I told him, I said, it would have really been a stupid move for her to start something there, because here I am with a bunch of mostly men, veterans, that know me. I'm there a lot. And for her to roll up in there and want to start something probably would not have gone over well for her. And I told him, I said, part of me, it would have been like, ma'am, I send you love. You need to go home and get up on the other side of the bed, because starting something here today would be a big mistake for you. But it did, none of that happened. But I'm just not in that space anymore where I care to engage with people like that. You just let them go. And that is where I talked about peace on earth, the perfect world. That is where it's supposed to be. Where you just let that nonsense go. And actually, in a perfect world, that nonsense would not even exist. Because of her low vibration, her bad mood, her whatever, would not have even come into my existence. Now, sometimes the universe puts people in your path, I won't say as a test, but just so you can, I hear, refine your skills. Just remember that it's not always about you. I don't know what she might have just had an argument with her boyfriend or her husband or whoever it was. She might just have limiting beliefs because, and I will tell you, it was a black couple. How many times do they, and I remember a couple years ago, Candace Owens, who is a black woman, who does, most of you probably know who I'm talking about. She made a statement and she said, and I can say this because I'm black. She said, black people are the only race that uses their color as an excuse. Think about it. No other race, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, then that you never hear them saying, oh, well, I'm Chinese or I'm Asian or I'm Mexican or as an excuse for their behavior. It's just black people. And it's always because it's against them. And I'm not saying all. I am not saying all. Just the ones that you see. It is time we get beyond this nonsense. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're allowing the corruption to win. Because they want us divided. They want us at each other's throats. Because they know when we come together, we will be an unstoppable force against them. And they don't want that. So, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. I don't mean this bad, but the black people have been duped. Because a lot of them, like this woman, haven't seen it yet. And they're still playing into the agenda of black against white. And I saw it, I see it, not as much anymore because I don't go out. I'm pleasant to everybody. I don't care who you are. I told my friend this morning, I said, I remember when I was a security manager. I was talking to another manager at a different mall than I worked at. And we're standing there talking, just having a conversation. And this woman comes up, this group of young black women came up. And she said, have you seen my keys? I lost my keys and we hadn't seen them. And we were like, no, we haven't seen anything. And she immediately got an attitude. And he said, if you want to leave your number, I'll be glad to call you if they show up. Her response, she got huffy and she said, this is exactly why I don't like dealing with white people. And it just completely blew me away. I'm like, where did that come from? We're standing here trying to help her, and she's going to turn around and say, that's why I don't like dealing with white people. Honestly, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And when you think about racism, they're usually the ones perpetuating this. Anyway, and that's not my point of this video. My point is just let this nonsense go. If it doesn't matter if it's, and my friend, I was telling her about it this morning, and she said, Pam, the crazy thing, the 2 times that I've had the biggest interactions with people where they came at me for like no apparent reason, and she's Indian. She said they were black people. Both times. She said it was just like out of the blue. They just unleashed on me. I'm like, oh my God. We need to get past this. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. We have got to stop with the judgment and the division. We are, at the end of the day, we are all one. We are just different expressions of the one, the all energy. And it's, you choose to live the way you choose to live. As long as you're not trying to force your opinions and your beliefs and everything down anybody else's throat, who cares? If you choose to, because we all do, we all wake up on the wrong side of the bed from time to time. We all have bad mornings. We all have bad days. We all have fights, arguments, whatever. So just because you do, let it go. Don't take it out on somebody else. And where is it my place to judge her? I don't know what she went through that morning. Maybe she had not had her cup of coffee yet. I don't know. So the more we can get in that place of just allow others to be them without judgment. Again, it's not my baggage to carry. Why am I going to carry that nonsense? Why am I going to let her bad mood ruin my day? That's giving her my energy. No, I'm not. I don't give anybody my energy anymore. Not if I can help it. Well, I can help it, but not when I realize what I'm doing. So you step into your power. You maintain your energy and stop giving it to somebody else. That's when you think of a perfect world or peace on earth, to me, that's what that is. I have my beliefs. I can have a bad day, because things will happen. I might stump my toe. This morning, I headed out the front door because I was going to go sit on the front porch with my cup of coffee. As I open the door, both dogs decide they're going out at the same time. And one of my dogs is like a bull in a china shop. So half of my coffee that I just poured into my cup, so it's hot, goes all over my hand, down the front door, onto the floor. I could have let that, and I was not happy because it hurt. I can let that nonsense ruin my day, or just clean it up and keep going. I can let that lady's comment annoy me and get under my skin and piss me off and look for a fight. And, because I just envision her standing there with her guy, whoever he was, and me with an army behind me going, go ahead. You have something to say to me? But why am I going to do that? What point is that going to drive home other than she's having a bad day? Because I did nothing. I didn't. Maybe she spoke to me and I didn't speak back. I doubt it, because I was talking to somebody else the whole time. I really don't know what her problem was. And I really don't care. Because again, that's her problem. You know, you're not here. And I learned this the hard way. So I'm telling you, you're not here to carry anybody else's baggage. You're really not. And another thing, okay, I'm just going to tell you. The other night, my husband was having a bad day, having a bad moment, whatever. And I thought, because if you're a woman, you know how we act. You know, you think, why is he, our brain goes into, what happened? What did I do? And you run every scenario possible through your head. You've already come up with a comeback for anything you think they could possibly say. So when you come together in a conversation, you're already on the defensive because you have already had this argument. Do not tell me I'm wrong. And men, you know this is the truth. How many times do you try to have a conversation with a woman and she comes at you with her claws out instantly? It's because she's already had this conversation. She's already had this argument in her head. And you were there in her head. And I made up my mind that I was not going to go there because I had no idea really what was bothering him. So for me to run all these scenarios through my head was giving him my energy and wasting mine. Because the next day when we had this conversation, I didn't come at him with my claws out. There was no defense. I heard his side of it. Of course, my comment was, you're playing in the wrong sandbox. And he knows he was. We all do from time to time. But what it was nothing that I was playing out would have possibly played out in my head. So again, don't carry anybody else's baggage. Don't let it get you wigged out. And again, if you're a woman, listen to me. Because when you step into that place of, you know what, it's okay. We all have bad days. We all have things that we misunderstand. You have something that happens. And again, you climb in that sandbox. And then every little thing adds to it. And it just compounds it and makes it worse than it needs to be. Allow your time in that sandbox. Play with those angels of low vibrational stuff, nonsense. And then tell them to have a nice day and you're out. And climb back in the good sandbox. So I hope this helps you. I did not know all this was gonna come out. So if it helped you, if it gave you any benefit, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, because God knows what's going to come out of my mouth next. Literally. And hit the notification bell. Because, like yesterday, I posted a video, but it was later in the afternoon before it came up. So, that way when it happens, you're notified. Because again, God only knows what's going to come out of my mouth. So have an amazing day. Stop carrying everybody else's baggage. Stop giving your power away to anybody. and just enjoy your life. You know, I went about the rest of my day yesterday and enjoyed my day, except for the fact I got overheated because it was hot yesterday. So, other than the heat of the day, I had a great day. I hope she did too. So, have an amazing day. I send you guys so much love. I feel like Miss Congeniality. I really want world peace. Or what did she say? Yeah, I want world peace. Anyway, yes, I want world peace. So we can make it happen. It's a feeling. Feel into what it's like to have world peace. And to be, just like that. You see somebody that's having a bad day, you send them love. You don't have to physically engage with them. Send them love and stay in your vibration of love and light and happiness and joy and peace. So anyway, have an amazing day and we will talk soon.